but a lovely hull, very dry, didn't feel or notice any spray coming up and over the decks when we were out there in those waves, and just super easy and predictable. She'll really keep you comfortable in some bumpy stuff. Easy peasy, Japanesey. Hopefully you can see me, guys, because the sun's right behind the lens there. But welcome to Palm Beach. Welcome to twin Yamaha 350 horsepower test. We're going to be going straight out in the ocean, and then after this we're going to cut to another spot where we're going to do some parking demonstration. We will also test the anchor and then see how fast we can go on the flat water. Right now I'm just going for comfort through the waves on all points. So we're going to exit, remembering I'm in America, I'm not in Australia, so it's red right returning. It's always a good one to not muck up. We saw all the security boats with machine guns because Donald Trump must be in town. That was pretty cool for someone from out of town. Just exiting the bar, it looks moderately, pretty flat basically, but there are a few little waves once we exit for you to get an understanding of how different these hull designs are, because many of you were talking to me at the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show, which was just the other day, and I realized quite a few of you are transitioning from sports cruisers into a hull design like this, and you are interested in the differences that a design like this Quarken 35 Sport Tourer can provide to you, as opposed to what you currently have on your more fuller bow sports cruisers. So we're going to use these waves coming up to demonstrate that. Got a little bit of funky stuff over there on the starboard side. I'm going to keep clear of that. I'm going to... there's a sports cruiser struggling right now. Okay, well that's quite timely. So, for those of you who are interested in an adventure hull profile, what we are able to do with the cutting bow at the very front, the quite deep V and the air steps, it allows us to maintain, I've got a 25 mile an hour cruise speed right now through what would be quite uncomfortable chop. You may or may not see a sea ray behind me. I'm now going to brake right and go down swell and downwind, maintaining 25 mile an hour at 3,500 RPM. Because we are able to cut through these waves, instead of having a full bow, which does give you the benefit of essentially more seating up the front, although the seating on the front of this one's pretty good, what we're able to achieve is a fast, flat and smooth running hull in less than perfect conditions. What that sea ray was just doing over there, got a bird in the water or some debris. Oh no, it's dolphins. Dolphins. And what that fuller bow was doing, when you connect with a wave, it slows the boat, sends the bow up, and then introduces water up and over the front. So if you look through camera 2 right now, we're now in the ocean, we're maintaining 29 mile an hour, and the boat is dry, I'm comfortable, and we don't have any waves coming over the side. I'm going to slow that speed down now. I'm going to brake left, and we're going to go into the waves. It is worth mentioning, guys, I've got the Yamaha 350s on this boat. They are a noisy motor, but Yamaha are introducing a noise reduction kit to these motors. So if you think it's noisy, that's because it is. Much noisier than the Mercuries. I've actually pointed that out in previous videos to people before. Here we go. 1.5 foot of short sharp, wind chop straight into it, and the bow is really coming into its own right now. But yes, if you're concerned about those the noise levels, well, Yamaha have identified that for social boating. The fishermen don't so much care. they're okay with that. But the social boaters, people who are going to be conscious of it on a vessel like this one, well, it is being attended to. I'm doing 3,200 revs, 20 mile an hour. See how the boat is still maintaining quite a level attitude into these waves. I'm not having to work too much, although if I see a steep one, I am going to try and angle the pointiest bit of the bow into the next wave, just for comfort, because what we're not doing on a hull like this, we're not using weight to our advantage like you see on a lot of American hulls. Instead, we're using design. So we do have predominantly a little bit lighter than what many of you guys are going to be used to when comparing them to the thicker American hulls. And those hulls you can just kind of drive on many different directions to the wind and swell and let the hull just bash its way through. We can do that as well on a hull like this to an extent, but then it becomes a little bit smarter to weave your way and find the best path. So there is a difference to driving. Now I'm going across and then down these swells. I'm going to increase the speed just up to about 30 mile an hour. Not worried about top speeds just yet. We're going to do that when we get inshore, and we'll talk about the fuel flow in there. I'm just giving you the feel. So this hull, she does have enough of a flare to send the waves out, but we've got a lot of cutting action at the front. I can feel those air steps breaking the surface tension of the boat, and she's got a nice level attitude right now as we go down swells, and we're crossing back in to the bar into Palm Beach right now, just leaving traffic on my port side. I'm keeping to the starboard side of the channel, clear up ahead, clear all around, no jet skis, and maintaining 30 mile an hour, easy peasy, Japanesey, very comfortable. So this is absolutely an offshore hull. If you do your weather planning and your safety checklist correctly, you can definitely take this boat to the Bahamas or do some offshore explorations in Australia, go around the Mediterranean. I don't see any dramas whatsoever with a vessel like this. And we got some commercial traffic exiting the channel, so I'm going to get out of the way and allow this guy to maintain his speed. So keep watching. We're going to go from here to another location and bring you guys along for the ride. Okay, so we've come to a cute little spot actually on this island. That's just a bit of a wave break island, I guess, around the corner from the bar here in Palm Beach. What's this island called again? Peanut Island, like peanut butter. So I'm just on the stay point at the moment, which many of you are going to be familiar with. So it just holds position relative to where you are using the motors and connection to the GPS. But what is new and cool is the incorporation with the bow thruster. So if you press F1, you'll actually let the variable speed bow thruster, which is working right now, work in combination with the motors. So this is by far the best joystick for a joystick option for a boat of this style that I've come across. There's plenty of, you know, I really like those V12 Merc joysticks when you got a triple rig, but that's not what we're talking about today. So I'm disactivating or deactivating the stay point, and I'm actually just going to slide the boat on. What I'll do first, I'll do a spin on the spot. So let's do that. So I'll just get the boat moving aft, and now I'm going to start spinning it around. And the the bow thruster is a variable speed electric bow thruster. So it decides when it needs to pump in the extra power and assist you in your turn. So that's pretty cool. And you also have the possibility to dial up the power from, I think it's 1 till 6. Let's just have a play with that now. on the joystick control itself. So I'm on level 2 at the moment, so I'm not giving it too much, but as wind and tide increases, so let's go level 3, boom, boom. Okay, so you've got 5 levels to play with. So we'll go on level 3, and now let's just side slip to port side. And what's very nice about a design of hull like this, your access and your visibility to the side decks is fantastic. So your control can be really, really awesome. But I can hear that thruster working. I can hear it dialing up and down. I've got really good sight lines on the whole port side here. So bringing it in a controlled manner is not an issue. And I'm just going to, because I don't have any fenders today, I'm just going to sit it about 3 foot off the dock. Not even that. There you go. So the engines have heaps of power. Now I'm departing the dock, but you feel that bow thruster kick in, and she really does maintain a nice controllable side slip, because what can often happen with these joysticks is the engines lead the way and then the bow really does follow, because there's a lot of leverage happening at the back of the boat, which makes sense. And that can be a little bit confusing. So let's deactivate, go throttles only. We'll actually spin it using transverse thrust this time, so without the bow thruster. And we'll just have a few fish jumping around here. This must be a good spot for, I see some fish in the mangroves there. So we'll just do a transverse thrust spin. I like to only operate the throttles with one hand when I'm doing this maneuver. I don't like doing transverse thrust with 2 hands, because that encourages you to perhaps work the throttles a little bit faster than they need to be worked. But just doing that, we've got enough power to spin the boat on the spot should we need. Now I just want to see how she tracks in a straight line in reverse for all of you guys parking the boat at a marina and needing to do this. So let's just now introduce some wheel. And I suspect, and we are now confirming, that it tracks quite predictably, because we do have a reasonable amount of V underneath the boat, which is giving us some directional stability. Now, I don't want to get into that shallow water, so I'm going to do some forward momentum now. And that's the next point for some of you guys who are stopping me at FLIBS. If you're coming from a traditional sports cruiser like that one that you might be able to see it on my port side in some of the drone shots, it's going to have a much flatter profile underneath the water line. There is going to be less boat in the water. So when you're doing this slow speed maneuvering, see me just tracking forward in a straight line right now. I've got 1.3 miles per hour, really slow. But what you may also notice through camera 2 is the boat's not really drifting around. If you try and do that on an old-fashioned sports cruiser, or even a modern sports cruiser, many of them, it'll be kind of like you're on in an ice rink, and you're just on ice, because the boat will just kind of start to drift away, because there isn't anything below the water line giving you grip like you do have on an adventure hull. That makes a big difference when seconds count, and when you need to get to the side decks, which it's really easy on this one because they're right here. Always favour the starboard side, but even the port side, that's not hard at all. Yeah, they're just a very predictable thing. They perform well in the waves, as we just saw, but they're a very predictable thing at slow speed. So if you're wanting a boat that you can manage genuinely by yourself with 9 other people on board, this thing's rated for 10 people. You know, once you learn how to manage your guests and tell them to be in the right places at the right time, this can be quite a relaxing boat to maneuver. Very good. I think it's time to go and check the full speed capability of this thing in the flat water and the fuel burn. That's up next. All right, guys, speed test here, and I got my gallons per hour in fuel flow. I got 243 gallons on board. I'm just going to get her up to a sensible cruise. We're talking miles per hour, and then I'm going to do wide open throttle. So with these motors, the 350s, you do have a bit of a higher noise level on initial takeoff. I got the trim down there, now I'm getting my trim setting up. But when you set it on, even without the noise reduction kit, when you set it on about 4,000 RPM, the noise levels without the noise reduction kit are quite manageable. So that's giving us at 4,000 RPM, a little bit of trim on the engines, 35 to 35 and a half mile per hour, and that's 25 gallons per hour fuel economy. So now, clear, clear, clear. I'm going to get some waves in a second, and I'm going to start accelerating. Techno hole, I'm going to go into his wash in 3, 2, 1. Once I'm into that wash, trimming up. I got some traffic ahead. 45, 50, no problems, but I got to slow down for the traffic. So I'm going to have to turn around and do another run. We got 55 with these props earlier on, and I'm going to try and do that for you now. So I'm just trimming down, and I'll actually just do a slow turn here. And I think we're clear for a second. So I'm just going to go flat out. Okay, red right, green left, clear, clear. Engine trim down, accelerate. Okay, going to start bringing my engine trim up now. There's that engine noise. We're going through 5,000 revs, 38 mile an hour, 41 mile an hour. Get that engine trim right up. Feels a little bit light on the wheel, but controllable. A little bit of debris in the water. Go around that. I'm seeing 52. A little bit more of a trim up. I'm good on the nav. 53. A little bit more of a trim up. 53 going into the tide. 53 mile an hour. So that's a confirmation because we're going into the tide. We saw 55 mile an hour earlier today. That was without tidal effect because we were in between. So this is a 55 mile an hour boat. And I forgot to call out the fuel flow at wide open. So hopefully that camera picked it up. But I did tell you what we got at cruise. And she's quite a comfortable boat at the slower speeds as well. So as you saw out in the ocean, she'll really keep you comfortable in some bumpy stuff. But even in here at a 16 mile per hour, 13 gallons fuel economy, she's just on plane. So that's those air steps doing their thing for you. Very cool. All right, I think we go drop the anchor somewhere cool and see how she grabs. So that's the boat, guys. What do you reckon? I reckon these twin 350s are probably the right match for those of you who want to boat with all your friends. It just makes a lot more sense to do that. But a lovely hull, very dry, didn't feel or notice any spray coming up and over the decks when we were out there in those waves, and just super easy and predictable. So it's a bit of a conservative vibe is what I get on this boat. So if you're someone who's perhaps coming out of a Beneteau sailing yacht or a larger vessel and you can't be bothered with the management of that vessel anymore and you want something super neat that you can entertain and really easy for you to manage, this is going to be a great option for you. And definitely if you're one of those people that I met at the boat show coming out of a sports cruiser, or maybe something like a Mary Fisher or Beneteau on Tears that's practical but not so great in the ocean, and you want that extra capability that you don't currently have, then definitely focus your attention on this. Anyway, hope that was useful. I'll pop up another video on the screen of a competition to this. Go and do your own research, and wherever you are watching in the world, I hope this inspires you to get out and enjoy your best boat life. See you next time.